one of their main concerns, I would say, is the maintenance, warranties. Who would I go to? The language barrier stops them from getting all that information because it's hard to find, if you go to a city hall, it's hard to find someone that will speak your English, right? Batteries are, just taking off. People are more interested, there's more curiosity around them to see really how much savings you could have, how good they are.
So hi everyone, welcome back. I'm joined today by Pamela, who's one of our best solar experts that we have on the team, and she's particularly skilled at walking our English-speaking and non-Spanish-speaking customers through the process of home electrification. So I'm super thrilled for her to be here today, and it's amazing to see her because she doesn't live in Barcelona, so we don't see each other in person that often. So it's really cool that she made the trip out here, and welcome, Pamela.
Thank you, Chris.
How are you doing?
Really happy to be here. It's always nice to see the whole team, share experiences, talk, do everything here in the office. Yeah. I'm always happy to be here.
That's nice.
Yes.
So I mentioned you deal a lot with our English-speaking customers. So what's the difference essentially? How is their experience different from the Spanish-speaking customers who maybe have an easier time? I would imagine that they feel less comfortable because they don't know a lot of people, they don't have local networks, they have more trouble with the paperwork aspects, but what's their experience like? What do you typically encounter?
Okay, so it is difficult for our English customers, in certain ways. The language barrier causes a lot of difficulties. Sometimes they don't know, or there's a lot of misinformation around it because they don't know where to go. Some of them, yes, they have been living here for quite some time, but you do know things are different from their country. So there's a lot of confusion when it comes to this, or there's a lot of companies that will speak to them in Spanish, they really not understanding what they're gonna buy or how the process works. So I think that when it comes to that and they find someone that they could talk to, we have something in common, they feel more comfortable talking to someone in the native language. That helps a lot. It builds some kind of trust with the customer. And I think in my case, that helped me build that relationship with all my customers. Yeah. Okay, that I've had here in Sunhero for almost 2 years. So I've always done this. I like it. I feel like I could just give a lot to these customers, make them feel at home. Yeah. Which is very important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, so many of our customers come by word of mouth. So they've heard about this from other people. And I imagine, is that the same for kind of your typical English-speaking customer, that a lot of them already know someone who has made this step and that's how they find us? Or is it people who are really kind of, I imagine them, living in a house somewhere, I don't want to say in the middle of nowhere, but a little bit outside, and they really feel a little bit isolated, they don't have great local networks? Or is it a little bit of both?
There's a bit of everything. Some of the customers, they come over here from their country, they already have panels there, so they know how it works. Yeah, I would say in general when it comes to panels, but they don't know how it works here in Spain, they don't know that you're able to, if the system can be connected to the grid, whether you're going to be getting paid for the surplus of energy. So they don't know all of the aspects of it. And like I said before, there's a lot of misinformation about it, but there's some other customers as well that my neighbor has them, or my bill is really high and I'm really trying to save. Oh, I've seen this and I would like more information. So there's a mix of everything, there is a lot of information out there. So it makes people want to find out more. So it's the same case with them, I believe.
So you mentioned people that come from maybe especially Northern European countries or also from the United States, that they have seen more panels at home, and maybe in their home, previous home, that they already have panels themselves. In terms of the paperwork and kind of the administrative process, is there anything that is significantly different here in Spain that people should be super aware of, that's kind of like a general blanket statement, or is it really kind of every case is a bit different?
I believe that it's pretty much similar in the kind of permits that you have to ask, because they kind of have an idea on how it works in their country, and they try to relate it over here or compare it to the way we do it over here. But at the end of the day, it's the same process. But sometimes the language barrier stops them from getting all that information, because it's hard to find, if you go to a city hall, it's hard to find someone that will speak your English, right? So they don't know how to find that information, and sometimes online is the same thing. You're not able to, so they need people like us to be able to share all that information, all that knowledge, and it gives them a peace of mind knowing that the processes are not that different. Right? And that makes them move forward with everything else, make the decision to start with the solar panels, with the installations, batteries, everything else.
Yeah, so speaking of batteries, do you see there a remarkable difference between kind of what people are installing here and what people are kind of used to installing? Do a lot of customers come with questions around batteries? And I think kind of maybe not entirely related, but on a similar note, the whole question of electric mobility, do you see that kind of, I think that's going to start taking off here in Spain in the next couple of years. It's been a little bit behind comparative to other countries in Europe especially, and especially to the United States as well. But I think it's coming now, and I would imagine that some of the English-speaking customers are, a little bit at the forefront of that as well.
That's correct. I do see more interest in batteries. When I do my first calls and I talk to customers, their first question is, do I need a battery? Are you going to let me know that? Because I don't know. So also around batteries, there's not a lot of knowledge, on how they work. But people are trying to be more and more independent, especially, I believe, foreign customers. They are trying to be more independent, more savings, So I believe that right now, as in a year from ago, batteries are just taking off. People are more interested. There's more curiosity around them to see really how much savings you could have, how good they are. So yes, I believe we're going to have more of that.
Super. And you mentioned you've been now selling PV for a few years and helping customers on this journey for a few years. Anything that's kind of significantly changed over the last few years in terms of like the expectation that customers have, the knowledge that they come at this with, the hopes that they can kind of what they can achieve with this? Do you see anything has changed significantly, or is it basically the same situation as it was a few years ago?
I could say from a year ago, there was a lot of noise a year ago around subsidies. People heard about it. They didn't really know what was going on, but it was exciting with all those incentives, and people were right now. I think people are more clear on how those processes work. Mm-hmm. But there's still a lot of things that they don't know. For example, there are other incentives, not just the next generation subsidies. There are incentives, so that is making people they still keep moving forward with it, Yeah. Although maybe the decision might take it's a bit slower than before. But once you tell them, well, there's other things, there's other incentives that could help with your payback time. This is one of the things that people worry the most, right? Their payback time. So these help. Yeah. Definitely this kind of information, house property taxes discount, income declaration, deductions, this help will people make that decision, So it's important to keep them updated with everything that's going on to keep their interest going.
Yeah. So could you share a little bit, what's the typical process like, especially for, again, non-Spanish speaking customers? When they come to you, you walk them through the whole thing. You explain everything. We put the offer together. We kind of plan the system, and then what happens after that? Because you're obviously able to speak with them perfectly in English, but what happens after within the installation process, and should anything happen after the installation with maintenance and repairs? What's the typical contact that the customer has with us after the installation?
Okay, so people are really concerned. One of their main concerns, I will say, is the maintenance, warranties. Who would I go to? I make sure to tell my customers, I will always be a point of contact, because I'm the first contact. But then we go to a project manager, we go to after sales, but I want to make sure that they know that they could always come back to me. I'm always there to solve your problems, So it's that. People have a lot of questions in regards to that. What if something goes wrong? what am I going to do? So that's the kind of conversations you have. But I like to give them that reassurance that we're there for you. We got you. We got your back. Yeah. I think it's very important.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's a massive decision, right?
It is. It's a big investment, for a really long period of time. We're talking about 25 years or more. So I completely understand those concerns, and I want to give them that. I want them to feel safe, with us. And I think that's very important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, the good news is that even everyone on our project management team, they all speak English as well, and after sales as well. So,
That's one of the main questions I get, will he speak English? I'm like, our whole team speaks English, so no need to worry about that.
And if anything should happen, they can always call you.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, perfect. Well, thanks so much for coming. This is lovely. It's so nice to see you again.
It's always nice to be here, definitely.
Thanks, Pam. Take care.
You too.